I keep hearing a lot of stuff about this topic, and this is very scary, so I wanted to discuss this topic on my channel so that more people can be informed about this situation. It says 40% of Americans would struggle to cover $400 emergency, or a $400 emergency, and that's pretty scary. It says right here, emergency fund, and stick with me in the video and I will tell you what the secret is to not be in this situation. If you are, the secret will get you out of this situation, and the secret is very simple. I'll go ahead and look at this article a little bit. The article is saying that even though the unemployment is at a record low, 40% of Americans still struggle financially, and if they had a $400 financial emergency, they would be in a mess. Small expenses like a car repair or a broken appliance would be a hardship for many families because they don't have adequate savings. And also, a lot of people carry balances on credit cards, or they have to borrow from friends and family. Here it says that 25% of Americans don't feel like they are doing at least okay financially. It's talking about people making less than $40,000 a year, which is ridiculous, because if they were to do the secret that I'm going to tell you, then they could make it work. Because it's been proven, even people that make $100,000, $200,000 a year, once they start making that money, they increase their lifestyle and spending, and then they're in debt again and they're out of money, even though they're making all that money. Compared to somebody making $40,000 a year, they're in the same situation. So somebody that's making, say, $200,000 a year is in the same situation as somebody making $40,000 a year, because they're blowing all their money on stupid stuff. Are you ready? Here is what the secret is. The secret is you need to spend less than you make. Pretty simple, right? So then why are 40% of Americans not able to do this? First, what you need to do is look at the bills that you have that you can eliminate. I have a list here on the screen you can look at, give you some examples. Rent is something that you can't eliminate, but you can reduce it if necessary. Say, like, if you're single, there's no reason why you should be living in a 2-bedroom apartment. You could go rent an efficiency or a studio apartment, or find a roommate that will help you pay the rent to save you money. The electric you can't eliminate unless you get like solar or something. So you do need it, but you can reduce it by turning the air conditioner to a higher temperature, making sure you turn off the lights when you're not home and stuff like that. Just simple stuff. The cable bill, you can eliminate that. You don't need that. You got YouTube, like you're watching right now. If you want, you can also hook up one of those little HD antennas to your TV and get a bunch of free channels. The internet, you can't really get rid of that, because in this age we need it. Like, for you to watch YouTube, you need it, and it's a lot cheaper than cable. Now, here's the hard one. This is another reason the 40% have trouble with their finances. The phone, we need it, but we don't need a phone that costs over $300. Hint, iPhone 10. There are plenty of phones that you can buy that are under $300 and they work perfectly fine and they're pretty powerful and they do what you need to do. You can watch videos on them, you can go online, check your emails. They work just as good as the overpriced phones. And also another thing, your phone bill, you can negotiate that, and there's certain things that you can take off of there to get the bill lower. Or you can just sign up for a new plan that has a lower monthly rate. Now here's another problem most people have. They go out and buy a brand new car and they put it on a loan. And that limits the money they have available each month. So they end up spending more than they make. But this one depends. If you can, buy a used car and not a new one, if you haven't already. And don't lease a car because you lose a lot of money on that too. And at the end you don't have anything. It's better to buy a used car for $4,000 or $5,000 and have it for 5-10 years versus leasing a car for a couple of years, because then after you spend all that money but you don't get anything to show for it. And then a new car, you lose all that money to appreciation. And then streaming services such as Netflix, Hulu, etc., you can eliminate. Those aren't necessary. But if you can afford it, then you can keep them. That's fine. As long as you're not spending more than you make each month to do that. Here's an example I came up with to explain how you can start to spend less than you make. This is a scenario I came up with that is what would happen if you were to spend less than you make. Your monthly salary after taxes is $2,000 a month, and then your rent is $1,400, your food's $300, your electric is $60, your cable's $100, your internet's $50, your phone's $50, and then so you're spending $1,960 of your salary, and you have $40 left until the next payday in the following month. Actually, this slide is when you start to use the strategy to spend less than you make. Here you have the rent, say 14. So we were able to reduce our rent by moving to a smaller place, or just found another place that was cheaper. Food's still $300, the electric's still $60. Got rid of the cable, kept the internet, and we got to keep the phone. And then we started a emergency fund, which we found a high interest savings account that pays at least 2%. They're paying about 2% now. Don't get one that pays less than that. And you're putting $200 a month into that. And the total for all that is $1,660 a month versus $1,960 a month. So now, after you start to establish your emergency fund, you still have $340 left in your bank, your regular checking account, until payday. That's great, because then you're not living paycheck to paycheck, because you always have money in your accounts. Your accounts are going, say, $5, $6, and you're waiting until payday, and you're like starving because you can't get food. Now you actually have money there, so if you do need something extra in between paydays, you got that $340. Now let's say you practice this method for 2 years and something happened, you lost your job, you got laid off or something or whatever, you got fired, and now you're looking for another job. If you're living paycheck to paycheck right now, then you're pretty much screwed. You have no cash. Nothing to help you out. But since you reduced your expenses and you started your emergency fund, your bills are still the same, $1,660. But what you do now, since you're not working, you stop transfers to your emergency fund and you reverse it. Now you take the money from the emergency fund and put it into your checking account. So you work for 2 years and you did the emergency fund, $200 a month. So you have $4,800 in the emergency fund plus some interest that you accumulated. So out of, let's say maybe you got about $4,900 in there. You lost your job. Your bills are still the same. But you were smart and you put away this money to help you out in case something happened and for some reason you couldn't work. It could even be you got hurt and you're out right now and they're not giving you workers' comp or anything, or even if they are, you're only getting like 80% of your regular salary. So you can pull from the emergency fund savings account to help pay some of those bills if that 80% workers' comp money's not enough. But in this situation, you lost your job. So if you take the $1,660 a month that you approximately pay each month for bills, and you divide it by 4,800, so you have 2.89 months that you can pay your bills, and then hopefully you'll be able to find a new job before then. Plus, you should also have some extra cash in the bank as well as the emergency fund to help you. Because if you do it smart like this and don't blow all your money, I think it said in the other slide you would have like $340 a month extra sitting in your account. So you should still have a few $1,000s extra from that. So just with your emergency fund here in this example, you'd better pay your bills for almost 3 months. You could just sit at home all day and go online and apply for as many jobs as you can, or you can even go out in person and look for jobs. And maybe even find some side work that you could do, like Uber or Lyft or Postmates, something like that. Or maybe just if you got a skill like fixing cars or something like that, you could do little side jobs on the side and make a little extra money while you're trying to find another job. But then you don't have to worry about paying the bills because you've got this savings. So it gives you a little time to find a job. It usually takes at least 3 months to find a job. So really you're going to want to have more savings than 3 months worth. You're going to want to have at least 6 months minimum of emergency fund savings for something like this. Or if just something happens and you need money. So you don't have to go take out a loan and pay a bunch of interest on it. Because that's not necessary when you have the emergency fund. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment below and let me know what your thoughts are on this topic. Is there anything I missed? Let me know below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. And also go ahead and give the video a like.